Hey guys, it's Gina. Kind of fitting in this video today. It's been a long day. I kind of wanted to talk about bad situations. Have you ever found yourself in a bad situation and it's like you can't focus? It seems like it's permanent. You just feel kind of like deer in headlight situation, and I mean, it may be something like you were just scared to death in a moment, like on an amusement park ride, and it just went so anti your own self. Or it could be a violent situation that you found yourself in, whether it be domestic violence or like a mugging or something of that nature. And in the reality, those moments are so short, but they don't feel short. They feel like they just are all encompassing. And I kind of want to just talk about how you can focus a little bit and help you to get a different perspective on it. Because I've had some pretty bad situations happen this week that just took the air out of my lungs, and my focus has just not been there. And what I am focusing on instead is maybe it's not what I want to focus on, because I have these other goals like school and my toddler and everything else that's going on. And so it's just like, and then when everything just kind of comes down in us, and even if it's not necessarily bad, sometimes we just have life just happen all at once, and it can just seem so overwhelming. So I kind of want to give you a new perspective. So let's say that you are standing in the middle of a forest and there's a forest fire raging around you. You can't see anything because of the flames, right? So, you feel trapped. You feel like you have no exit, because no matter which way you turn, all you see are life engulfing flames. Now, let's view that same thing. Let's say you're standing on the edge of the forest fire and you see that there is fire in front of you. You see all the smoke, but you can't see anything because of the smoke. I mean, the smoke has just stopped everything. But then if you change your perspective and you're looking from the top, kind of like, looking at the floor plan of the earth, you don't know if those flames are just 2 inches thick, 2 feet thick, 24 feet thick. But when you're in the middle of it, you feel trapped. So even if they're a 2-inch thick, that you could get through that without too much bodily damage, you don't think you can. And that can be so overwhelming. And so sometimes it's things that we've done in our lives that we've brought this in on ourselves. And I'm going to talk about it in a way of clutter and minimalizing and simplifying your life to hopefully give you a different perspective. So that way you can apply it to whatever facet of your life is going on. So too much clutter, like physical clutter. You walk into a room, clutter is everywhere. You can't even see the floor. So you have to hit everything one piece at a time, right? You can also have emotional clutter. You can also have people clutter. Clutter, or hoarding onto things and holding on to things, can actually really make it harder to deal with. And so we hang on to emotions, we hang on to physical things, we hang on to people that we don't need in our lives anymore. And I'm not just saying cut everybody out of your life. That's not what this is about. But there is a saying that we are the sum of the 5 people that we spend the most time around. So if you are here and the other people are down here, they're pulling you down. And that might not be where you really need to be spending your time. So peer pressure is a real thing, even as an adult. And so we are the sum of the 5 people that we spend the most time around. So you might need to reevaluate who you're spending time around. Is it actually beneficial for your mind, body, and soul? And I'm not saying you have to cut them out altogether, but you don't have to give them all of your attention and all of your time. So, clutter also reminds us of a to-do list. So it's like, it's something to do. If there's clutter on the floor, we have to pick it up. If there's clutter in our head, we have to deal with those mental to-do things. If it's people that are creating the clutter, typically it's the people that are creating drama in our lives. It's kind of similar to how you can procrastinate on a very simple task. But yet, the more you procrastinate, the harder the task becomes. And then it's this big monstrous thing that when you finally get the courage and the strength to go, okay, I'm just going to tackle this, it's like 2 hours later, you're like, oh, what was that big deal about? Why did I turn it into this monster in my head? So, I just kind of want to talk about that in general, just like hoarding on to things and how to let go and how to simplify your life. And so I recently listened to a video by Joshua Becker, and he's an ex-pastor that has turned into minimalism. And he mostly just talks about minimalizing, but he does bring, God into a lot of it as well. And one of the things he says that if you're having trouble minimalizing or simplifying your life, you're asking the wrong question. Instead of, should I keep it? Ask if you need it. So there's so much in our lives that we probably should keep it, but we really don't need it. And when you put it to that lens, you can say, okay, I don't need this person who's creating this drama. I don't need this, boxes and boxes of clutter. I don't need this job that is not advancing my career like I thought it would. I don't need 3 million pairs of shoes. I've only got 2 feet, so, only 7 days in a week. So even if I took how many shoes I had and divided how many hours there are in a week, I probably still couldn't get them all on in the day. So that's where I was like, okay, I don't need that many shoes because I don't have that much time to spend just sitting there changing shoes all day. Just as an example, because I have been very guilty of that person. Too many shoes, not enough hours in the week to even wear them all. So I'm pretty proud of myself. I've gotten it down now, so I have minimalized my shoes. I know. Ooh, ooh. And the ones that I kept, I really like. I really enjoy. They bring me happiness. They bring me joy. And so, it's one of those that it was a procrastination thing. I didn't want to do it. I was like, oh, I can't get rid of my shoes. Can't get rid of my shoes. But it was like being in the forest fire. Once I realized that this fire is only about a half an inch thick and I can just reach right through it without really hurting myself and just jump on through that flame and get on to safety, I was okay. I did it. So, there's so many things that you can do, even emotions. Are you having memories or, maybe you have PTSD or something of that nature that, it's a legitimate situation. Have you gone to a mental health professional so that you can start unraveling that and working through it? Start decluttering this stuff out of your life. You do not need these anchors and these barnacles just holding your ship down. You need to keep sailing. You need to keep going and go find the wave and hit it. So, and when you really examine, should I keep it or do I need it? You're going to realize that a lot of the things that you're keeping and you're holding on to is junk and it's not really a value. But for some reason, you had this mindset, this perspective that you needed it to survive. And you don't. So go ahead and free your mind. Evaluate the people that you're spending your time with. Evaluate your goals And I know this is kind of lofty because I'm sitting here saying change everything in your life. And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying change everything in your life. But if you're trying to chase your sunset and you're trying to find your happy part, you got to figure out where you're being pinned down. And most of the time, it's not just in one area. It's very rarely that we get pinned down in one area. What we do is we get comfortable. And then as things just happen, we just let them happen. And then we don't want to really change because change is hard. Change is scary. But it doesn't have to be if you just look at it as a perspective. You know, are you looking at the smoke? Are you looking at the flames? Have you looked at the overall picture? Is it really as bad as you thought? And you'll make your changes where you need to and in your own time and in your own space. But I'm giving you the power to be in charge of those changes, to be in charge of your perspective. And take it as you need it because, you know, we have bad days. We have bad weeks. We have bad moments. We have bad months. Sometimes there's a bad year. And it just seems like every time we turn around, it's just, ugh. And I have been there too. And I'm really making strides to just reevaluate and go, okay, what really, do I need to keep it? Yeah, I don't want to ask that question anymore. Do I need it? Is it what I need to be the best Gina, to be the best version of myself? Is it going to propel me to the next year? Is it going to propel me through the next 5 years? And those things, you'll be surprised, are not really that many things. And when you look at that, and then if there are a few things that you just want in addition to what you need, fine. If you've got room for it in your life, embrace those things. But don't just hang on to emotions or physical things or relationships just because it's not worth it. It will affect your health. It will affect your happiness. And, you know, it may be affecting other people's health and happiness as well. So clear out your clutter, you know, wherever it may be, whether it be physical or emotional or mental or relationships or whatever. Clear out your clutter. Think about Josh Becker's, do you want to just keep it? Which I don't think is a good question because, you know, we want to keep a lot of things. That's why we already have kept it. But if you think about, do I need it? And then you can make an empowered decision and move forward and start making some very important changes in your life so you can chase your sunset. So it's a process. And what you think you need today, when you reevaluate this question in 6 months, you'll be like, you know what? I actually don't need that other pair of shoes. My going through my closet and getting rid of my shoes was a 3-part process. The first part was real easy, getting rid of just the real old ones that I just hadn't worn in forever or were just kind of junky because I do typically keep a pair of shoes until they basically break. The second time was harder because I got rid of some things that I thought were really cute, but the reality is they made my pinky toe hurt, or they did this, or they did that. And I was just like, you know, I'm not going to wear these. And then the third time was, what do I really need? What goes with what I have in my closet right now? What do I really need? What am I really going to enjoy wearing? And what can I logically keep that, you know, because, and I told myself, you know what? If I get rid of shoes, that means that another time I can get new shoes. You can't make room for new if you keep holding on to the old. So, you know, I hope that you found some, you know, empowerment with this. So I hope that you can go and see what forest fire you're in, if it's actually really a fire or if it just looks like one. Get your perspective changed. Kind of evaluate your areas of your life that you're maybe not as happy in or that are causing some drama and undue stress. Now, there are some areas you can't change and you're in it for the season. If you've got a newborn, you're just not going to be getting sleep right now, and you know that. You're not going to get rid of your baby. I mean, that's just how that works. But, you know, if you're doing a project at work that you know is going to advance you, but it's just it's a booger bear project, you just suck it up, buttercup. I get it. Those are moments. Those are not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the over and over and over again, doing this to yourself, and then realizing what you're doing, and realizing what you want, and seeing if what you're doing and what you want align up on the map and get you to where you're going. So, look at your perspective, you know, reevaluate your clutter, and go chase your sunset. Have an amazing week. I will see you next week, chasing your sunset. Hey, if you like the video, please subscribe, please share, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.